Hello and welcome to all sorts of Christmassy fun happening on my channel for the next couple weeks. So today I'm going to show you a really easy craft using pine cones. I actually am going to do two crafts. One is just a small Christmas tree ornament, and then this one is a little bigger. I'm going to use it to put on a door, but you could also hang it and do lots of different things with it. All that you need for this is some pine cones. You can buy ones that are already white, but I'm going to show you how I painted mine that I collected from outside. I made a fall pine cone craft, and in that video I showed how I prepared the pine cones that I collected outside to use in a craft. So I will put that video up here if you want to watch how I prepared the pine cones, just because you need to do a couple steps just to make sure there's not like bugs in them, and it also helps open them up, which makes it easier to paint. So all you're gonna need is some ribbon. You can use whatever colors and designs of ribbon that you want, and some pine cones. And if you're gonna be painting your pine cones, then you need a small paintbrush and some white paint. I used white chalk paint, but you can use acrylic paint as well. Okay, so I have all of these pine cones that I collected in the fall before it snowed. And then I have two different ways that I'm going to be painting my pine cones white. Both work, it just kind of depends on what you like to do. So the first way is a bit more time consuming. Dip your paintbrush into the paint and then just paint the edges. It's a bit more time consuming, but it does look good because the paint is nice and thick. I am using home decor chalk paint. It doesn't need to be like this brand of chalk paint, but I really do like how chalk paint is thicker and it just looks better on the pine cones. So I'm just going to like paint, stroking all the little pieces. And for the crafts that I'm doing, the pine cones are going to be like this, so I don't need to worry so much about doing the inside of the pieces because it's not going to be up like this, it's going to be down like this. The other technique you can use for making your pine cones white is this way. So I just used like a milk carton that I had so that I didn't ruin like a container or something. And I just filled it with water. And then I'm going to mix some of my chalk paint in with the water. And mix it all up so it's like a milky color. Just kind of looks like milk, or it looks like when you wash your paintbrushes off in water. And then I'm just going to dip my pine cones into that. And you can leave them in here to soak, or you can just like dip them and take them right out. It kind of gives more of a subtle white look, and it's very easy because you're just going to dip them in and then take them out. So I'm just gonna pop those in there and let them sit for a little bit and then take them out to dry, and then I will show you the difference between the different white pine cones that I did. So I've let my pine cones dry. I really like how they turned out. And you can see the difference. This is one that I just painted, and then this is one that I dipped in the water mixed with paint. It's more subtle and like natural looking. It's really pretty. And this one's more obvious white. These ones dried in like a couple hours. These ones, because you're dipping them and they're like the whole pine cone is wet, you need to give them a couple days to dry. So this is 2 days later. So for the next step, I'm going to heat up my glue gun. Hot glue guns are a must-have if you're doing any sort of DIY crafts. They dry pretty instantly and you can just do a lot with them. It's a good tool to have. So the first thing I'm going to make is an ornament for the Christmas tree. I'm just going to be using one pine cone, so I'm gonna pick one that I really like. I'm going to use just a tiny piece of this type of ribbon to make the loop on the top to hang on the tree. Just like a little loop. And hot glue gun that on. And then I'm going to add a bow around it with some kind of fancier, nicer looking ribbon. Okay, so I just have a little loop like this. I'm going to put a generous dollop of glue on the end of my pine cone. And stick this in it. And then you're just gonna wanna set this aside and let it dry. Okay, this little guy is dry. And now I'm just going to add a bow to it. So my Christmas tree is very red and white this year, so I wanted to use a red ribbon. Tie a knot. So it's just in a knot like that. And then I'm going to add a bow. So add a bow, and then obviously I'm going to cut these strings. So I just tied a bow like how you would normally tie a bow. Make a knot and then 2 loops. Obviously I'm going to cut the strings, but I do like how they look. So I think I'm going to cut them like right here to start with. And there we have just a super cute, easy pine cone decoration for your tree. Okay, so I ended up cutting the ribbons just a little shorter once I put it on the tree, and it looks super cute. I like how I used white for this string to match the white of the pine cone, so it's just a little white and red. And it ties in with the other red stuff I have on my tree, and it's really cute. And I love that it's a pine cone that I found by our house, so it'll always just be like a little memory of our walk where we found all the pine cones that I used for crafts. Okay, the other thing I'm going to make today is to hang on a door, so it's gonna be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to use 3 pine cones for this and glue each pine cone to a piece of ribbon. And then I will connect them all at the top with a pretty bow that will hang. So I'm gonna use this one and cut it into 3 parts. So I have 3 separate pieces, and then using my hot glue again, put a generous amount and then just stick the end of the ribbon into the glue and then set it aside to dry before doing the next step. Okay, so I've got my 3 strings with my 3 pine cones. And I think when I put them together, I'm going to make them different lengths. So kind of, maybe 2 long and 1 short like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use a tiny piece of string to tie my 3 pine cones together. Just like this. So basically it's just to hold them together. You could just use this to tie around and hold it together. I find that if I use the bow to actually tie this part together, my bow doesn't look as pretty as I'd like it to. I'm going to make a bow. So I have a particular way that I make bows, and if you watched my fall wreath craft swap video, I showed how I make a bow, but I'll do it again quick. So take your string and then you're going to fold it over like this into this shape. Then you're going to take this part and press it here and then just scrunch this up like this. So you have a bow shape, and then I'm going to take another piece of ribbon. I'm going to use a piece of the gold that I used on the pine cones, and I'm gonna use that to wrap around the center. And then I'm just going to put some hot glue on the back of my bow to hold it all together and hold the gold ribbon to it. This ribbon has wire in it, so I just kind of use that to fluff it. And then we have cute little ribbon, my pine cones and my bow, and I'm just going to attach my bow to the very top. And then some of my strings are a little long, so I'll just trim those after I've attached it. And I'm just gonna use my hot glue again. Generous dollop on the back of the bow. Sticking this piece on, I will trim it after it's all dry. I just added a little bit of glue on top as well, and then I'm just gonna let that sit until it is completely dry, and then I will just trim off the strings and it will be all done. Okay, so this is the finished product. I just trimmed the top of the ribbon at the top, and this is what it looks like. It is so cute, and I'm gonna go hang it on a door, just like over top of the door handle. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this quick and easy little tutorial on how to make a fun Christmas craft. Make sure to like and subscribe and keep watching because I'm gonna have lots more Christmas videos coming your way. Thank you.